Hello there. Welcome to the House of D channel. I'm of course D Square. Today I'm going to make this video because I want to help you get into reading comics. That's right. I know that this can be a daunting subject. I experienced it myself back when I reintroduced myself into comic reading, and of course I just helped my brother dive into it as well. So I know the feelings of fear, confusion, not knowing how to jump in, not knowing where to jump in, and I'm going to give you some great tips in no particular order on how to get into comic book reading. I hope you enjoy. Okay, so first tip on the list of how to get into comics. Let go of seeking continuity. That's right. Many people believe that it's one long continuous story that all makes sense and they just need to find the proper spot on where to jump in and everything will make sense, but that's not going to be the case. You see, a lot of these characters, teen books, comics in general have been going for a very long time, and they've had a plethora of writers and artists that have interpreted the characters in different ways. Obviously, the writer is expected to keep the essence of the character, but they do take creative license and do go off the rails from time to time. So, don't worry about continuity. It'll make this process a whole lot easier. Next on our list is to use all the reference materials that you have today to focus on what you want to read. This could be a character, it could be a team, it could be a team with the character that you like. Use everything that we have to our advantage. We have the MCU, the Fox X-Men movies, a lot of animated movies that are available on Netflix and other streaming services. So there's a lot of things that can help us to at least gain an interest in who we would like to read in comics. My next tip on how to help you get into reading comics is do not start from the beginning. You may like the X-Men, you may like the Avengers, but I do not recommend that you go back to X-Men number 1 or Avengers number 1. Those comics have been around for a while, and the writing style and the art style is absolutely very dated. Some of it is just downright taboo. So if you want to enjoy good stories and good artwork, I do suggest you start with some of the more modern comics. It'll just be a better experience for you, and it just won't seem so wacky and out of place. Now, for those of you that are absolutely struggling with this advice, struggling with my hey, let go of continuity, and you absolutely insist on going to X-Men number 1 or something like that, the good news is they have released several omnibuses, trade paperbacks, graphic novels, what have you, of those original stories that actually put them in nice collections so you can save a ton of time and money when it comes to hunting those down. But again, just because they're put in a convenient form doesn't mean they're put in a form where the writing's good. So, unless you're just a glutton for punishment or can't get past the continuity thing, I do not suggest you go out and buy that number 1 comic from 1963. You're just not going to enjoy it, and the chances that you're going to continue to read these series, they're close pretty much to zero. Okay, this next tip is a big one. I already mentioned graphic novels, omnibuses, otherwise known as trade paperbacks. I suggest that this is where you start because, trade paperbacks, they're a collection of comics that are all a cohesive story, one story arc, normally 4 to 6 issues long, so you're getting everything wrapped up in a nice bow, the entire story from beginning to end. There's not to say that there's not offshoot series, but you can also get the trade paperbacks for those as well. So again, graphic novels, trade paperbacks are an absolute way to go because it's just going to help immerse yourself into the story and get it from beginning to end. Sure, you may not know every single solitary backstory or piece of information, but that's okay because that's going to lead us into my next tip. And of course, my next tip is use the internet. Absolutely. You know, I mentioned picking your favorite person from whether it be the MCU, the Fox movies, several animated movies, both Marvel and DC, so you can definitely get a lot of flavor for a character or a team before ever diving into comics. But you can also go to Google, who will lead you to a lot of great Wikipedia articles. You can learn everything you need to know about a character or team. And there's also official databases provided by Marvel and DC. So the internet is your friend. All right, last tip to help you get into comic book reading, and that is to simply visit your local comic shop. Let them know what you're interested in reading, and they're going to point you in the right direction, whether it be to let you know what current series is running that has your favorite character or team, or on helping you locate or possibly order graphic novels that deal with the characters or the teams that you're looking to read about. They have every incentive in the world to help you along this journey, because if they help you, obviously you're going to come back to their store and you're going to give them business. They'll even offer to create a file or a weekly pull list of all the comics that you want to read. That way, as soon as they get them, they put them in a file and you don't have to worry about that book selling out. So, visit your local comic book shop. They're going to help you out a ton in this comic book journey that you have decided to go on. And I hope this video helps you do exactly that. I definitely want to keep comic book and comic book reading a popular hobby. I hope I've helped you turn it into a hobby today. If you have any other questions whatsoever or need any more tips or information, go ahead, leave a comment below. I'd love to help you out. But until next time, peace and love, and we'll see you again soon.